Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, so let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So first off, I do want to do a quick shout out to NFA.crypto over on Twitter. I came across this video earlier today and I thought, wow, this is it. We have, we've been talking about XRP for a very long time on this channel. There's been a lot of community members that have put out some incredible, videos on XRP, really kind of discussing what it is, why everyone should be watching it, etc. And this has been one that, I come back to now because this video is so incredible. It's about 2 minutes long. I'm not going to play it on stream. I highly advise you guys to all go and watch this video because this will change your entire perspective on XRP. And I even did quote this, and I said, the XRP community has been warning the public for years, but still 99% continue to act blindly. The vision is unfolding, and in the last 10 months alone, everything has moved extremely fast. From pilots to live projects launching, the world of finance will never be the same. XRP. And I want you guys to understand that, when we really kind of look at what's unfolding behind the scenes, Ripple is playing a pivotal role. What is that role? Well, thanks to NFA.crypto, he actually did post this thread over on Twitter. This was an incredible breakdown on everything around cross-border payments, around the global agenda with XRP. And I think I thought that this was also incredible. This is his pinned tweet, by the way, from April 4th. I never even seen it until earlier today. But we did talk a little bit about the images here on these photos that Ripple did utilize. They're the same images that we have seen quite a bit over on some other websites, but we do see here, I dug way too deep and now fully believe the photo Ripple uses an ISO 20022, shaping the future of cross-border payments, reveals a hidden link between XRP and a massive global agenda. First, for context, I've been researching the UN's Sustainable Development Goals for 2030 Agenda, SDGs, to find the crypto opportunities it presents. Here's a thread for background, and by the way, go check this out. This is very interesting. Second, I've been researching XRP for years and believe it will be a main fixture of the future digital financial system. And this relates back to the SDGs agenda because its success requires the establishment of that same digital system. So, I wasn't that surprised when I saw Ripple announce news linking XRP to the SDGs. Ripple announces partnership with the United Nations Exchange. This was Zange, by the way. If you guys didn't know about Zange, I definitely advise you to go check that out. Bringing a carbon credit solution to the XRP ledger. Aside from sharing the exact same logo, we know Zange is connected to the SDGs from their website. Zange is the first securities exchange focusing on sustainable development goals and will act in line with the United Nations SDGs roadmap. And here you guys have it over here. That's that quote. And it's not just XRP, the currency, that will contribute to these goals. Ripple, the company, will as well. Ripple commits to the carbon net zero by 2030. The first blockchain company to do so launches tool to help decarbonize blockchains. So we know XRP is the chosen crypto of the SDGs, and the Ripple will play a pivotal role in achieving them. But what goal specifically? I believe the photo this thread is about may have the answer. The most important goal, SDG number 17, partnerships for the goals. And here you guys have it, partnerships for the goals, number 17 under SDGs. How can we tell? Notice the color of the SDG 17. It's the same as the lifted shipping container. Is this a metaphor for the last piece of the puzzle, SDG number 17, global partnerships being dropped into place? Is XRP what ties it all together? Now, before you write this off as a reach, just you wait. I reverse image searched this image and found that it originally hosted on Shutterstock by a photographer named Sassine Tipshay. I'm saying that name right. Who is Sassine Tipshay? I googled his name and was mind blown. It turns out that Sassine's photos are consistently used by the UN and World Economic Forum for SDGs promotion. The link between Sassine Tipshay and the UN/WEF makes me feel almost certain that the photo Ripple used in the ISO 20022 announcement is a subtle nod to the SDGs, and it makes me even more confident that XRP will ultimately succeed. In conclusion, I believe there are levels to this stuff that go much deeper than the surface. I will continue to do or to looking to the SDGs for investment guidance and sharing my findings. Thanks for reading, and please give me a follow. And yes, highly advise you go check him out. But yeah, these are the type of connections that we have been looking at. all of these major opportunities to really kind of not only pay attention, but also really kind of dive into things a little bit more than just looking at things from the surface area. And the funny thing about this is that this is centered on cross-border payments. You know, ISO 20022, shaping the future of cross-border payments. Listen, 10% of this market would change everything for XRP. And a lot of people think that I'm reaching when I say 10% market share value for Ripple with XRP. It's really not. I mean, listen, you can go over to Ripple's website right now, okay? At the top, go to cross-border payments. Settlement in seconds, not days. Why does this even matter? What is this headline, and why does this headline mean so much to me? Well, when you actually look at this, right, I've always said that we are, in this kind of weird time frame for technology around cross-border payments. We are modernizing the entire systems, but the problem is that the underlying technology is still not being digitized. It's still old legacy technology that is not settling things in seconds. It's settling it in days, 3 to 5 days to be specific. The problem here is that you need rapid settlement in order to achieve rapid payment technology or technological advancement. We are already kind of seeing payments being advanced slightly digitally, but the problem is that the underlying technology is still not there. Settlement is still not being fixed. Fees are still not being fixed. This is why I focus on cross-border payments from Ripple. I think that they're much further ahead than anything out there technologically, and Ripple is also building out global connections with on-demand liquidity corridors every single day, every single minute, every single hour, every single second. So I've focused my major just focus on Ripple building these connections, building out these partnerships, the domino effects that will happen after the fact. And cross-border payments has always been the market that I've shared a lot of my guidance on, because this is a market that we know the statistics behind. We know that Ripple has been going after this market for over a decade now, and we know that this is a huge opportunity. They actually do have the big sort of insight here on why industry leaders choose our cross-border payment solution. You guys can read into this if you want. We've talked about this many times in the past, and you could also see like the insights over here that you could really kind of read into. It's very incredible to see how far they have not only moved on this platform, but innovated on this platform. Now, the reason why I talk about cross-border payments is because many names out there, for an example, here's Deloitte, have been talking about cross-border payments on blockchain. Now, you might be thinking that I'm crazy and I'm only talking about XRP when it comes to cross-border payments. A lot of projects out there are moving towards the cross-border payment market anyways, but the issue is that they're nowhere near Ripple's area. The reason why is because Ripple has leveled up way beyond every other major company out there. Why have they? What sets them apart from everyone else? Well, Ripple chose XRP because of XRP's potential. XRP is not Ripple. Ripple is not XRP, just so that you guys know. The reason why I talk about Ripple all the time is because they have chosen XRP, and Ripple is building out this massive ecosystem centered on cross-border payments and on-demand liquidity. They focused their major attention to on-demand liquidity just because of how big of an opportunity it is. Remember, right now, in the entire world, in terms of the monetary system, liquidity is at critical levels. A lot of these major banks are running low on liquidity. Liquidity is just not there to sustain a lot of the buy and demand, and we are going to run into many issues unless we have something kind of ushered in. This is why I always talk about Ripple and XRP. I do think that the RippleNet, or I shouldn't even say RippleNet, but Ripple on-demand liquidity mechanism will be ushered in, which is centered on RippleNet anyways. But the problem is that I talked to you guys about XRP being the main bread and butter for cross-border payments just because of how far ahead they are from anything else in this market. It's very similar to like XDC. I've talked to you guys about XinFin with trade finance just because of the opportunity that there is there, but also the fact that XinFin has been the only project in the space actually centered on that market. The same goes for Ripple with XRP. And we actually do see here cross-border payments on blockchain, enabling business-to-business and person-to-person payments across borders on vendor blockchain-based payment rails. Now here we have business-to-business and then person-to-person down here. They do kind of show a little bit of an insight here. Low cost, 40 to 80% reduction in transaction cost, 8% of transfer today. 4 to 6 seconds average velocity of money, 2 to 3 days today. And this is near real time. Secure public-private cryptography, multi-party authorization option, data rich, end-to-end transmission of metadata, pre-transaction information exchange for pre-authorization of transactions, and then irreversible, verifiable record of every transaction. And yeah, this is the big opportunity here. And you actually do see down here, This is them talking a little bit about digital banking as well. At the end of the day, I do believe that every single bank is going to move towards digital banking. It just makes a lot more sense. I know that a lot of people think that this is not going to happen, but everything is moving very fast in terms of the digital standard. I've told you guys this many times on this channel as well, going all the way back to, I want to say like over a year ago now. I told you guys that CBDCs are going to unfold rapidly in the year of 2022. Why did I say that? Well, because the monetary system has been breaking for a while now, and in the span from 2020 to now, it has gone way overboard in regards to critical levels. We're basically at peak critical levels. A lot of people do think that things are about to break. A lot of people have been playing into the idea that a lot of these banks are essentially going to collapse, and we're going to see another 2008 recession-like, market. Is that going to happen? We don't specifically know. A lot of things are kind of looking that way, but you also have to remember that things will look extremely bad during the bottoms in a lot of these markets. I do believe that crypto, at the end of the day, is going to be the savior around a lot of these major areas, specifically the cross-border payment market. Could we save the entire world, if you will, of finance with Ripple and XRP? Yeah, technically we could, especially if you look at liquidity. But the problem with this is that XRP's value would actually have to be a lot higher. I don't think that a lot of people know this, but the higher the value of XRP, the higher value markets that Ripple can go after with XRP with on-demand liquidity, just so that you guys know. So that's why I always say like XRP's value would have to be a lot higher than what it is now in order for it to expand rapidly within those high value areas. But here's from the Bank of England. Now, this was a very interesting area that I focused on as well. This is cross-border payments, again, centered all on this market. Faster, cheaper, more transparent, and more exclusive or inclusive cross-border payment services would bring widespread benefits for citizens and economies around the world. And why do I focus on this market? Well, we can look down here, the value proposition. So why do cross-border payments matter? Over the past few decades, the increased international mobility of goods and services, capital, and people has contributed to the growing economic importance of cross-border payments. The value of cross-border payments is estimated to increase from almost 150 trillion in 2017 to over 250 trillion by 2027, equating to a rise of over $100 trillion in just 10 years. Now, I actually want to talk to you guys a little bit about this. So we all know how inefficient cross-border payments actually are. If we are growing $100 trillion in just 10 years, and this entire mechanism is extremely inefficient, imagine how fast this market could actually grow if we had real-time settlement, and the inefficiencies that plague this market were completely gone. That's the big value proposition for Ripple with XRP. And we do see down here factors that have been intensifying over recent years include manufacturers expanding their supply chains across borders, cross-border asset management and global investment flows, international trade and e-commerce, migrants sending money via international remittances. These trends have increased the demand for cross-border payments and the need for end users to have access to cross-border payment services that are as efficient and safe as comparable domestic services. Remittances in particular play a vital role in low and middle income economies and in some cases are becoming the primary source of development finance. There's a huge area of growing success around Ripple within this area as well, by the way. And here they do kind of break down how cross-border payments do work. Again, a lot of this is a big issue. So for an example, here's figure 1, a simple cross-border payment using accounts held at each bank. So this is those Nosho Vasho accounts that a lot of people do bring up in regards to Ripple with XRP. For example, here you guys have a cross-border payment using a correspondent bank, do not have accounts with each other, so they have to use a bank where they both hold accounts, the correspondent bank. And this is that $27 trillion Nosho Vasho problem that is there that Ripple has been trying to solve for a very long time, and they essentially already did solve it. They're just waiting for global peak adoption of the mechanism on-demand liquidity. But hey, it's going to take a little bit of time to get there, but it is going to be very exciting once we do get there. These things do take time. But this is a very big issue. You can definitely see how complex this entire system actually is. Now, we do see down here, what are the key challenges for cross-border payments? Well, this is talking about the G20, by the way, enhancing cross-border payments was set a priority in 2020 by the G20, which a lot of people did speculate that they were working with Ripple. We're going to get to that here in a second. But here we have fragmented and, this is talking more so about the fragmented system around cross-border payments as well. I forgot to mention that. So fragmented and truncated data formats. Now, Why do I focus on this? With ISO 20022, it's actually fixing this. The data standards are changing so that everything is kind of interoperable between a lot of these major banking clients. That's going to clear up a lot of problems within this, and it's actually going to allow for a lot of these messaging networks like RippleNet utilizing XRP to be ushered in. ISO 20022 is actually very interesting in order to have these major, digital assets be utilized as a settlement means and liquidity means. So that's why I do focus on that area as well. Complex processing of compliance checks, limited operating hours, legacy technology platforms, which is a big problem. This is, big areas of settlement as well as trap liquidity. This creates delays in settlement and trap liquidity, which is the big problem which Ripple is solving. High funding cost, long transaction chains, weak competition. Why have improvements in cross-border payments been slower to materialize than in domestic payments? Well, a lot of issues. So they involve more and in some cases numerous intermediaries, time zones, jurisdictions, and also regulations, which is the big areas that we have been focused on for a while with Ripple and XRP. Hence why we look at regulations. I do believe that regulations are going to break the shackles on XRP. I do think that the settlement that could very well happen within the March 2023 timeframe or so is going to be the big one. And it is going to open the door for XRP to be not only adopted in globally, but also we will see Ripple continue to expand rapidly. And I think that that's going to be very interesting to really kind of see once that does happen, because again, regulations are a big, big obstacle that we need to get over. And again, the G20 is working very fast on cross-border payments and how they are going to revolutionize things around this. It is centered on digitization. They're even talking about cost, speed, transparency, and access to cross-border payments, which is like the big areas that Ripple has been focused on for a very long time. Again, do we have clear confirmation that the G20 is working with Ripple? Essentially not exactly. Like, for an example, over here, this is from Matthew Lin Wyatt over on Twitter. The DLT debt transparency platform might be implemented to slow down a systemic meltdown of capital markets. Ripple is one such company working with G20 central banks for blockchain payment instruments. By the way, this would essentially solve the systemic meltdown that is happening globally, or at least slow it down for them to actually solve it. And here we have towards a tech-driven centralized digital platform to boost global debt transparency. They are choosing a debt transparency platform that can be powered with DLT, essentially to later evolve into the trading platform. Now, within this, they do mention a few things that are going to kind of morph into reality, and it's more kind of centered on digitization of these major infrastructures. Here we have, policy brief, time to implement a tech-driven sovereign debt transparency initiative, concept design, and policy actions. And over here, we do see ICC calls on the G20 to take the risk of a global debt crisis off the table. This goes all the way back to, this was July 11th, 2022, sorry. And here you guys can read down here. This is to solve a global debt crisis. And then over here, we do see a few other discussions on this. While it is certain that the private sector can play a major role in disciplining the sovereign borrowers via registering and sharing key information on the individual debt transactions, this is much easier if data from the largest private lenders and creditors are registered, pulled, recorded, and stored in an independent global repository, the form of an online platform that can be accessible not only to the international financial institutions, but also to the civil society organizations, donors, and debt charities. This will be all done utilizing digitization on a DLT, which is very interesting. Now again, are we going to see this on Ripple with XRP? Who knows? For example, over here, the G20 working in collaboration with the IMF are creating a debt transparency platform using DLT technology. Is Ripple involved? Will XRP be implemented in phase 2 of the trading platform? And here you guys have a few discussions on this. Again, it's all the same information that I just read over, but it's all centered on one thing, having them all working together in regards to a digitized move. Ripple is a partner of the World Economic Forum, but we don't know if they are working with the IMF at any point in time. We do know one thing is for certain, though, we are seeing a full-on reset. And here we actually have from Utility Theory, I don't know how we can wake up the masses of citizens across the globe, as there is, a reset happening to our global economy that the mainstream media is deflecting from it with negative news. And yes, we essentially are seeing that. This is October 2021, by the way, the October 18th to 2022, or the 18th to the 22nd, sorry, from ICC. This is all about resetting the global economy. Everything is going to be reset utilizing DLT technology. I do believe that the XRP ledger will play a pivotal role. I think that all of this is really kind of being streamlined as well. Going back to this starting video, I think that this really kind of takes everything a little bit step further, and it really kind of shows us all of the connections with Ripple and XRP, and I think that it is very exciting. By the way, here are all of NFA's social media accounts, the Twitter, Instagram, and even TikTok. I highly advise you go check them out. I highly advise you go check out everyone that I utilize in this video. But this is really kind of proving the point that, listen, at the end of the day, XRP will be utilized for a lot more than just cross-border payments. There's a lot of things happening around digitization, but the one thing is for certain, and that is XRP is going to be utilized greatly. All right, we don't know how large of a market value it is going to affect with cross-border payments. I've always said like 10% is still plenty. I mean, listen, 10% of this market is $25 trillion. So that's a massive amount of money. The $27 trillion Nosho Vasho account issue as well. They are centered on these big problems, and I think that it is for good measure as well. Do we know what the value of XRP would be at utilization at 10% of this market share value? We don't. Again, it all depends on the demand of XRP. And again, I always share that the XRP value would have to be a lot higher in order for it to be utilized in these high value areas and high value payments. So again, the multiplier effects on XRP's price could be substantial, and we definitely have to wait to see that morphed into reality. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on for more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.